All right. There you go.
Stand back. Yes.
Good work. Next.
Get him, Miss Clark.
Kick and punch. And punch. Hands to chin. Go to the bottom. And punch. Punch. Kick and punch. No, reverse it. Reverse his hands to the bottom. There you go. Go. Good. Good.
All right, Miss Clark.
Good. That's it. Touch. Have him touch him. Good. That's it. Good. Come on. Stand up. There you go. Come on. Come on. That's it. Come on. Good. Okay, good.
Good job, Miss Clark.
Kick the punch. There you go. Good. That's it. Good. And punch. Just punch at it. Good. You can punch. There you go. Rise up. Good. That's it. That's it. Rise up. Good. 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 Kick the punch. Good work. Good.
Left and right.
First of all, when practicing these techniques that I'm going to show you, I want you to be as relaxed as possible. Keep your joints as loose as possible so there isn't going to be any injuries. The stiffer you are, the more there is a likelihood of being hurt through these techniques. So, don't absolutely resist. Give some resistance. But you'll find that if you practice the technique as I show you, you'll be able to overcome any resistance you might encounter. And this is, again, without a punch and a kick, which you could add at any time to what I teach you. So try to relax through the techniques and try not to resist. The resistance leads generally to injury, since this is only a class, a practice session. So you don't have to kill each other. However, let's begin with, for instance, an interesting hold is, I think they call it a half Nelson. No, not that one. Sorry. Good hold to get in? Okay. Now, if you're in a hold like this, what do? Usually you'll choke first. Well, one of the simplest movements is pushing up on your attacker's elbow. At this point, you can come into it like this and come into a come along. But there's very little resistance here in this elbow. Even if he tries to resist, he cannot prevent me from breaking the hold. He can still continue to choke, but once out of that position, I can hit him here, throw him, do whatever else that I want to do to him. But mainly, all you want to do is get out of this hold. One more time, please. It is this elbow, the one behind the head. Push straight up. That'll break the hold. And from there, add anything you want. Pair up. Now let's see.
Try to mix ranks if you guys can. Upper belt's going to the lower belt.
Okay. Center. I'll use this young couple here to do the same technique, please. All right. It is the elbow that the hand is behind your head. Press upwards and just move on to the ball. Okay. Now, when I do this, usually I can position his arm right here. And when I position his arm here, I let it drop into the crook of my elbow. Then I cut down, and it literally brings him right into me, into a come-along. And as we go on, almost all of these techniques will position into come-alongs. You can also throw an attacker. Matter of fact, there's a number of different techniques that you can use, different finishes, throws, and so on and so forth. So let's stick with just the come-along one more time. If you have trouble pulling the other arm out, break it out. Watch close. One of the things about Aikido is you actually use your opponent's power against them. And it's so, really so much different than what you're doing. It's the opposite end of the spectrum, so to speak, because we really don't use any strength in what we do. And that's hard to imagine. Especially, what do you do against somebody pretty strong? Well, I'll show you one of the things. Could you assist me, please? I just want you to hold my wrist from behind. All I'm going to do is raise him over to the front, but you hold me so I can't do that. He is, go ahead, hold me. He is pretty strong. Well, you can maybe try again. Okay, you got me? Oh, I can feel it. Rush of that strength. Now, tell me, does it look like I'm doing does it look like I'm really straining at what I'm doing?
No, sir.
And yet, he still is pretty strong. Now, why do you think I'm able to so easily escape his strength?
Manipulation of body joints and movement.
That's part of it.
Redirecting the strength, he's trying to energy.
That's part of it too. Energy is another part of it. Now, I'll show you. Would you assist me, please? Just hold my wrist as hard as you can. Now, see his arm from here to here is one piece. And he's gripping me fairly tight. Now, I'm going to hold your wrist. Am I holding your wrist about as tight as you were holding mine? Well, you don't see any. This is not one piece. This is a piece of rubber here. Where is the strength? It's only in my hand. Yet when he does it to me, he's using his whole body. Isn't that a little wasteful? So rather than using my entire body to do any of these techniques, I use the least amount of energy as possible. You always save it for when you need it. But that's the main concept of Aikido, is to relax and use internal muscle, ki, and all the mystical energy that goes with it. So it's really quite different than what you're used to, and it's actually becoming quite popular now with the great Aikido master Steven Seagal shooting all the people on the movie screen. So. I'd like to do is show you, your instructors told me that some of you can take fall, so you know how to roll a break fall. So I'm going to introduce you to a few simple throwing techniques from common attack positions. Now, a chest grab is probably a very common position, soon to be followed up, obviously, with a punch, but we won't even go into the punch. We'll just take a chest grab. Now, this is a very simple movement. He grabs me, I let him grab me. I even lean in a little, and I push up on his elbow. Now, that's not much. Of course, I could do a lot of things. I could break his grip here and take him back into a come-along, but that is not the purpose of this technique. Again, he pulls me. I follow this up. And I place this hand behind his neck, step, drop my body weight, and he goes flying through the air. Really easy. So, it requires really very little effort to do a throw like this. The reason for it is because it is my body weight when I turn and drop. It is my body weight that throws my descending body. How many of you could practice this technique? Raise your hands. Wow, a lot of brave and hardy souls here.
We have a few mats here, Mr. Liedke. We can put a few down for these guys.
Okay, why don't you go get your mat?
So,
It can literally be thrown 15 feet with this technique. What he'll do is he'll punch me. I'll do it slowly. He'll punch me. All I'll do is deflect his punch. But as I deflect his punch, you'll see my hand, as I press it down, roll into the crook of his elbow to this position. So when I do it, it doesn't look like so much like that, but slowly this is what's happening. So when he steps in to punch me, I block him, and we're back in the same position again. We'll do it slowly too from the other side. I block the punch, getting out of his way. See how I end up in the crook of his elbow? His momentum is still coming forward at this time. So I only put my hand behind his neck again, gently. You don't have to forcefully push down. And when you do push, you want to push slightly across his back. This aids in your throw. And is it not a very easy throw to make?
Sir.
Considering the other person's body weight. All right, continue. Oh.
Can you guys move back just a couple steps away? There you go.
Of course, there's a several $100 Ikkyo is generally
Good
done
technique.
from a cross hand position or a cross block. We'll do it from the cross hand position. Keeping the elbow in close to the body. You draw down, overcome his resistance initially. Grab here. Notice my fingers still pointing. Now I bend in his elbow, push it across his face, breaking his balance, and then down and around into a pin. One more time from the other side. Down, in, around. I rotate my hand so that my finger's pointing. At this position, I can literally unbend his elbow, even if it's stiff. Pushing up and across his face, down, and into a pin.
You're good, Mr. Liedke. You're good. Because I'm looking at the subtleties. You know, maybe some of the other guys can't appreciate it, but I see the subtleties that make it work. You know.
Now we'll go into, for instance, before we leave this technique, there's a point. If you're relaxed now. If you're in this position, for instance, now resist me. I could go like heck to try to force him down, but if he's strong, I can't. So as long as you're at his rear quarter like this, he can't possibly resist you. That's a final point on the technique. Nikyo technique. I want you to relax. I won't cause too much pain through this particular technique. The Nikyo technique can be done cross hand as well as on the same side. Again, you want to draw down, up and around to this position. I'm still holding his hand, his elbow is straight, which is not a good position to be in, so I have to alter the shape of his elbow. I do that by bending his elbow in, applying a twisting pressure here, and he will drop like a shot. In which case I give you a little pain.
Let him do this, he can gain his.
Not too hard?
But if I allow him
Now we shall do it on the same side.
very hard,
This time, again you want to draw downward. I revolve to the outside. Come to this position and hold onto his hand again. Now I push inward to bend his elbow and cut down and push him away from it. Punch from that side. From a punch, I slap it down, bend his arm in, push him away like a baby. Don't let me get slick.
You're doing a good job, Mr. Case. You're doing a good job.
Good stuff, huh?
We go to another technique for these guys, Mr.
Yes, sir. Bogdanski is putting a lot of it on videotape, which will help you out.
Plus, Mr. Liedke has videotapes for sale, which I have the original one, and I'm buying some of the other versions. So if you guys are interested, these are all for sale.
They're Panther production tapes. Panther sells them for $50 a copy. I actually only have 3 tapes with me that I'll sell, and I'll sell those for $35 a copy. And believe me, there's plenty of material on them, and they're crystal clear tapes. You would like another throwing
Sir.
technique? Okay. Jim, please, over here. Is that one all right, Mike?
I was looking at the camera, sir. Sorry. Would you do that?
Oh. Oh, that's too. Is that too easy?
I think that one. Can we see the first one again?
Okay. How about if I point out to you the basics of most of the throwing techniques? Many of the instructors of this art do not even understand the basics of Aikido. They can perform techniques, but you really have to understand the principles involved. If my partner takes a step forward to aggress me in any way, that all the elements are there for his throw. Step back and then step forward. The reason for that is really very simple. As soon as he steps forward and I extend him slightly, he is now off balance. Now look at this. Look at the position. He's going to maintain it. Does that not look easy?
Sir.
Mr. Liedke,
It only took me 15 years to learn.
Mr. Liedke, could you face the other direction?
Oh, you would like to?
Please.
Certainly. So this particular technique can be done either side. I could do it with this hand or this hand, and it requires only to pull them forward slightly and then rotate them. Now you say, "Wow, I don't believe that." Well, let me see. I'll pick somebody not too heavy. All right, I'll pick you. Okay, here's what you do. Right here. I want you to step forward with that outside foot. Okay. I want you to lock that knee so you don't bend it. All right? You sure you got it locked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, there's your revolution. So, the elements of the throw require only a step forward, which means, Jim, please, if he goes and reaches for me, you can hold on to him, as long as his motion moves forward. So it looks pretty simple, huh? Must be something fake about it. How many people think it's fake? Oh, too bad. All right, now let's give you, let's see, you did that throw from a chest grab, and you did it from a punch. How about a wrist grab? Same technique. And after this, we'll enter into another throwing technique. He grabs my wrist and pulls me. When he pulls me, I simply continue to move with him. So when he pulls, instead of resisting, I move with him. At this point, you're back in the same place, aren't you? Drop, and throw. When he pulls, hold it this side, please, Jim. Yes. When he pulls me, how many of you guys got it?
Sir.
Practice it, and I'll give ladies and gentlemen, please.
Guys, time to listen.
Listen, I put a lot of time into this. You guys want to suck up as much as I can give you. And believe me, if Mr. Bogdanski allows me, I'll give you a lot of material. My head is just full of technique. Anyway, one of the simpler methods of throwing is what we call Sankyo Nagi. Nagi means throwing. So Sankyo technique, we can do it from a punch or a grab, but what I do is basically I evade his strike and lead his arm into this position. Then I grasp it and I step underneath like this. So he is in this position. Now this is actually a painful position, so when you guys start doing it to each other, let's not break the wrist, all right? Then you need only to lead them out. Step slightly forward and lead them out and cast them like a fishing pole. And you'll find the throw will work quite well. If you drag your feet, if you're the faller and you drag your feet, don't complain if you get hurt. Okay.
A lot of you guys should know this one. This is this is one of our required self-defenses now.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
This particular one?
Yes, sir.
What's pretty easy? All
That
right,
was-
now how many of you think you have the basics of this particular technique? Raise your hands. You think you could,
Some of you guys-
who do you think could actually practice it right now?
Punched it, bicep, and then
All right,
stepped it.
most of you. I'll go through it again. This is the position you want to be in, whether it's from a punch. Notice I lead right into it. This block and grab. Doesn't matter if his hand's open or closed. At this point, most of you would be in severe pain. Now, Jim is not because he's very well stretched. However, look. See how he goes up on his toes? Now again, in order to throw him, don't I have to put his weight on one foot? Yeah. That's it. All right, we'll do it from this side, do it from a hand grab. Basically, same thing, whether it's from a punch or
He has a chance to
hand
think
grab.
about it, and he has a chance
First thing I always have to do is lead my opponent off balance so he doesn't clock me.
to balance.
But in this position, now, I'm going to let off a little on the pain here, but I want to show you as soon as I crank up with the pain, he'll go right up on his toes. Now at this point, you notice I have my inside foot leading outward. So at this point, I'm going to extend it upward and outward, and then downward, and into the throw. And if you do not resist the falling, chances are good you won't get hurt. So, I mean, you can.
Yeah. He only like buckled him. The second time he killed him. I think he's killed like 7 bulls to date.
Side kick.
Right. And you will.
And after that, throw.
Guys, listen up.
Please. Your instructor has it on tape, and you guys review a lot of it anyway. So let's get into some hand techniques. Matter of fact, some of the more painful ones. And generally, I do review the pressure points and some of the common stuff that you would like. How many were here at my last seminar? Raise your hands. Okay, so we got pretty much of a new crew. All right, well, let's go through, how about some pressure points first?
Yes,
and
sir.
then some wrist
Great.
locks. Okay, let's say my partner grabs me by the chest. Again, a common grab. See his thumb here? That hurts. I know, I'll slow it down.
Come around so you can see, guys.
Yeah, don't come in close. Don't be
But don't block the camera.
Pull the camera in.
All right, he chest grabs me. Do you see his thumb being exposed here?
No. There.
I see it. Now, you know what? I put my thumb on his thumb. You know this hurts like heck if you do it?
There.
So, that's all you do. That's all you really need to do, is squeeze on your thumb. However, let's take the same chest grab again. Gee whiz, you know there's a pressure point right here that's painful?
Where was that?
I'm going to explain in detail all of these things for you. But if I don't rub them out, sometimes they leave a lasting impression. Really. Okay, here is the pressure point. Right here, this, for instance, you feel the nub of the elbow right here on the inside. Right here. Feel a little end of the elbow bone here. Well, just ahead of that is a little cluster of nerves, and you press down with your thumb. Let me see. You got a pretty big one here. Now let me explain something first. Now if you know this hurts, and you mentally resist it, and you tell me, oh gee whiz, that don't hurt. Well, if I keep doing it to you, what's going to happen is you will not be able to use your arm after about an hour. And that's the truth. I've had it happen. So if it hurts, it hurts. Go with the pain. Don't try to mentally resist it. I won't continue to press anyway, even if you tell me it don't hurt. I just say so. Now, let's go on the outside of the arm. For instance, if this one makes them go down, gee, what does this one do? That one does the same thing, too. And here it is, right inside here. You've got to feel around for these things to find them on your own. Now let's take the bicep. Right in the center of the bicep. Very painful. Now let's go farther down. Matter of fact, you were talking about a block and striking the forearm. You strike the forearm and you hit the radial nerve, this will literally disable the arm. And the nerve's right here. See if I can find it. You have to feel around a little bit for some of this stuff on your own. I find it pretty well. But let me give you an idea of some use for, young lady, will you assist us, please? Grab her by the wrist. Okay, this is my girlfriend. And he's her ex-boyfriend, and he just come up to her, and all of a sudden we're out, and he grabs her. Now, I don't want to punch the guy. So I say, hey, leave her alone. Then he gets up and goes. But the reason he dropped, let's find out. You grab his wrist. Okay? Now, all you have here is a nerve underneath the cluster. You actually have a nerve cluster underneath this muscle. And it works quite well. As a matter of fact, you will also, I'll be gentle. You have a little nerve cluster there too. And you have a little nerve cluster here. And you have a big nerve cluster here. And all of these things hurt like that. Now, interesting. While we're at it, hang on. Somebody grab your hand. Squeeze in your hand real hard. You know the guys you get in the bar or so drunk they don't know any better? Well, you take your knuckle like this. And you place it on the back of their hand here and you press. Okay. Now, let's try some of these things. Try them on yourselves. First of all, press hard on the back of your hand. There's a spot the size of a quarter right in the center of your hand. You find it? Let's try it. So if you find it, good.
Thank you, sir. Just let him do it to you.
I don't remember feeling his hands. I was like, oh, I set everybody's back in.
Did you get, how much?
Forward with what you're doing. Actually, that's very painful to practice for very long. So let's take something simple. How about somebody chokes you with one hand? Okay, now what can I do from here? One thing. Well, I can push up on his elbow. Oh, he's the one in trouble now, not me. Then I can remove the grip. Do I want to break his elbow? No, I don't want to do that. I'll just hold him like this for a while, up on his toes. You might see this in Steven Seagal's movie.